Hey, City Groups, this is the finishing of our message from Matthew 16, where we talked about how Jesus Christ needed to suffer and how his suffering is the model for our suffering. I know you've had a couple weeks to work on this sentence, so say it with me now as we say, the mindset of the monarch molds the makeup of the monarchy and its members. And if you can say that 5 times real fast and send me a video, I definitely have something special for you. But in all seriousness, we understand that the king's character shapes the mindset of the kingdom. And Jesus said, hey, you can follow me, but just like I had to suffer as well, I'm calling you to a life of suffering. Someone wrote this when they said, we are called to embrace a cruciform life. That means a cross-shaped life in which the cross doesn't simply teach us that Christ has died, but it teaches us how to live. And we live in light of that. We live in the kingdom now, willing to sacrifice ourselves, willing to die to the self-life, to the worldly way of thinking. And as we looked at this past week, so that others can live. Death worketh in us, but life in you. That's why we serve in ministries. That's why we're here together in our city groups today. That's why we share and care about our neighbors, is because, yes, it's believing something more eternal, living past the here and now, and me and my comforts, and me having all the things that I think I need. And it's trusting God to provide those things and thinking of Him first and thinking of others first, like seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness. Here's a couple questions for your group. I'd love you to discuss these. These are pretty simple and straightforward, but what does it mean to deny self? I mean, I preached about it, I talked about it, but in your own words, there together, let's talk about this, denying self. And I'll just remind you of this, that it's not deny yourself things. That doesn't mean you can't drink Dr. Pepper or eat Doritos. There's something bigger at play here with this word self. Then secondly, what does it mean to take up your cross? That is, I know sometimes people wear cross jewelry or we have it hanging around our church. I don't know that Christians in these days had crosses hanging around. Actually, I do know they didn't, because it was a symbol of death. It was a symbol of suffering. But what does this mean to take up your cross? What does that look like in your life? What does it mean to follow me? And we said very specifically, there's an aspect of, I don't want to say it because I'm going to give the answer away. What do those things mean? If you missed this in the message, I mean, this was kind of what the whole message was about. So answer those questions. Do we have one more? Yeah. What difference does following Jesus in the kingdom now, difference will it make in the kingdom future? This was the last verse of that text when there were some promises made to those who will lose their life now. They'll gain it in the end. Those who may be misunderstood, mistaken, ridiculed, or persecuted for following Jesus now. And the Bible tells us something's going to happen in the future. Does this make a difference? Or could we just do whatever we want? And I'm saved, I'm on my way to heaven, I'm good to go. Or should I actually live for the kingdom future in the kingdom now? These are great questions because, well, I came up with them. Now, I hope they help you with your discussions in your city groups, and we'll just continue next week looking at the kingdom week 6.